What's good, YouTube? What is good? Y'all know what we here for. It's Sunday night. So y'all know we here for House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 9, entitled The Green Council. I just wanted to look down and make sure that I had it right. So the episode starts off everything looking dark, dank, and, gloomy and sad. Then we see this kid, like the council room where they have the meetings at, and everything is empty. There's no people running around, nothing going on. We see this little blonde haired kid walking across the castle, and he goes to one of the maidens while she's in the kitchen, and he whispers something in her ear. Next thing we see is Alicent being waken out of her bed and being told that the king is dead. So obviously, this little kid is not one of the children of the family. The kid is actually one of the little whisperers, one of the little spies. And Talia, Alicent's handmaiden, lets her know that Viserys is dead. After that, Alicent goes to her dad, Otto, and mentions that the king is now dead. And she also tells Otto that Viserys told her that Aegon is the promised king. I'm like, girl, like, you hearing what you want to hear, because he thought he was talking to Rhaenyra, girl. He ain't never talked to you about no damn dream about Aegon and all that kind of stuff like that. So why all of a sudden would he say that to you? So the council is assembled at the advice of Otto, the hand of the king. And Otto tells all of them that Viserys is dead, and that according to Alicent, Aegon is to be the successor. So one of the council members starts talking about, okay, so we're gonna do this, and do that. And when he starts talking, Alicent looks like, what the hell? So y'all been secretly planning to usurp Rhaenyra and make Aegon the king anyway, even though Viserys had said that Rhaenyra was to be his heir to the throne. So one of the council members was like, you know what? I don't believe this story. How do we know that you didn't kill the king yourself? And like, as long as I known the king, we've been knowing each other forever. He's always held on to the fact that he wanted Rhaenyra to be the heir to the throne. And next thing you know, they was like, Otto told him, you gonna bend the knee to Aegon as king. And this council member was like, no, I'm not. Next thing you know, he face down on the table, bleed from the mouth. Kristen and killed him. The Lord of the Night's Guard is standing across from Kristen and tells Kristen to relax, take down his sword. So Kristen put the sword down. And then Otto tells Alicent, now we gotta go and take out Rhaenyra, because we can't have nobody as opposition. We can't have no ops in this, like, because we already know she gonna be like, no, 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 my father told me I was heir to the throne, not no Aegon. So he like, we know she not gonna bend the knee, so we gonna kill her. And Alicent is like, what? No. You know as well as I know that the king loved Rhaenyra, despite everything that's happened. He loved Rhaenyra, and we're going to show her and her family some mercy. We're not going to kill them if they don't want to bend the knee to Aegon or whatever, right? So Otto was like, listen, they're going to have to bend the knee or be killed. And she was like, you know what? I disagree, and I'm going to remove anybody else who thinks that they're going to kill Rhaenyra. So next thing you know, Otto commands the Lord Commander of the Knight's Guard to go to Dragonstone. He was like, get some men together and go to Dragonstone, basically, and go kill Rhaenyra. He balled up something that the Night Guard, the Lord of Night Guard, he balled up whatever that was, rope, whatever. Balled it up, laid it on that table, was like, no, I only take orders from the king, and the king I took orders from has died, and nobody has been made king just yet. So when they make the order, I'll do it. But until then, I'm not doing that. He was like, bye, and he balled that shit up, and he was out of there. Next thing you know, Allie, she goes to Aegon's chambers, and he's nowhere to be found. So then we see Ado in the hallway talking to somebody named Sir Eric, and he was like, listen, I don't know where the hell Aegon is. He's nowhere in his castle. So I need you to get your brother and y'all go and look for Aegon in the Red Keep. And bring him, don't take him to Rhaenyra, bring him to me. Because I'm thinking he's going to try to either get in Aegon's head and tell Aegon to kill Rhaenyra, or he going to do something to Aegon himself, because I think, really, I don't want to be the fucking king. And if Aegon is dead, I'm guessing he think he gonna be next in line with him being hand to the king and speaking for the king all this time since the king been really, really sick. Next thing you know, Sir Kristen, he comes into Allie's chambers and he was like, your father, the hand of the king, has sent Sir Eric and his brother to go look for Aegon and to bring him to him, like bypass you. And she was like, no, none of that. She was like, no, you go and find him. You go to the Red Keep. I think you'll have better luck. You go find Aegon and you bring Aegon to me. Don't take him to my father. And Aemon was also in the room, and Aemon got up, was like, you know what? I'm going to go with you to find my brother. First, Alicent protests, but Aemon was like, no, that's my brother. I'm going to go try to find him. So then we see all the people in the throne room. All the heads of different houses, the lords and the queens of different houses in the Red Keep. Otto was in there telling all of them, y'all gotta swear allegiance to my grandson Aegon because King Viserys has died last night. And some people were still standing like, no, we already know that the king said that Rhaenyra was gonna be his successor. What do you mean? And so he was like, y'all going to bend the knee to my grandson Aegon. This was the king's last wish, his last wish with his last dying breath. He told, that he wanted Aegon to be king. So a couple people was like, no, I don't believe that, and was like, I'm not bending the knee. And then some of them was like, you know what? No, we got to go talk to our council members where we live, and then I'll make a decision then. He was like, no, y'all not fucking leaving it till y'all bend the knee to my grandson. So it was a couple of them was like, I refuse. I'm not bending the knee. It was a man, it was a woman, and there was another man. And next thing you know, they didn't bow. It was a man with a bald head. He was standing up. He wasn't bowing. When those three people didn't bow, Otto got the guards to take them somewhere, and I'm sure he had them murdered because they wouldn't bend the knee. And when the guards started escorting those three people who didn't bend the knee out, that man with the bald head, he reluctantly bent the knee. And we saw Laris watching from the balcony, watching that man with the bald head, right? I said, oh Lord, his little sneaky ass gonna see something and report. That's what I was thinking, right? So next thing you know, we see Sir Eric with his identical twin brother. They all in the Red Keep looking for Aegon. So they come upon something that to me reminds you of, like, remember like the gladiators and stuff like that on Spartacus. It's like a hall where they're doing that at, but they got kids and they're fighting to the death, boys and girls, right? And they watching them fight and stuff like that. And then they talking, and then they notice a little blonde boy sitting in the corner, and it's the same little boy that told Talia that the king was dead. They also, while they was talking, they were saying that Aegon wasn't fit to be king, but they're going to do what they're supposed to do according to what the hand of the king told them to do. So next we see Amon and Kristen walking through the red keep, going to different places looking for Aegon. So they come across the House of Silk. It's a bathhouse, basically, a whorehouse, a pleasure house, as they would call it back then. So the woman was like, she hasn't seen Aegon ain't been there like in a long time, and then she looked at Aemon because they dress regular, they don't have their stuff on to show that they from the castle or whatever. They trying to be incognito. Them and the twin brothers that's looking for Aegon, dressed in regular clothes, common clothing. And the lady recognizes Amy and kind of like gives him an eye or whatever. But she says, he not there. So we see Amy and Kristen still walking and looking. And that's when Amy tells Kristen, you know what, I'm next in line. If we can't find Aegon or if Aegon don't want to do this. And I intend to be found. I'm not going to go and hide like my brother. I intend to be found because he want to be king. If it should ever come to it. Next thing we know, we see the man who was reluctant to bend the knee. We see him trying to go out of the gate, trying to leave the castle. And he's accosted by some guards and dragged back into the castle. So they take him back to Otto. Otto was like, what was you doing? He was like, I was just going out. He said, but you was going in a hurry for what? Like, what was you planning to do? He was like, you was trying to escape, you was trying to leave, and he tried to play it off like, no, that's not what I was doing. And he tells his men Otto tells the guards to take the man away. The Otto look at Laris and was like, thank you for alerting him about the guy being reluctant to bend the knee and everything, and watching him and see what he did. And then that's when Otto says, yeah, I know you and my daughter had a whole lot of secret talks and plans and stuff like that over the course of the years. So next thing we know, we see Allison goes to the room that they kept Rhaenys in. And she informs Rhaenys that the king is dead. And she asks for her to support Aegon in becoming the king because Viserys said that he wanted Aegon to be king on his deathbed. And Rhaenys is like, no, I know Viserys, and he loved Rhaenyra, and he stood by that. So all of it, you expect me to believe all of a sudden he wants Aegon to be king instead of Rhaenys? Like, no, that don't sound right. So that's when Allison gonna run down all the reasons that Rhaenys shouldn't support Rhaenyra and should join the Greenhouse and join their side of the war because the war is coming. And then when that don't move Rhaenys, then she goes to say, because to be honest with you, all those years ago when they named Viserys king, they actually should have just went on and made you queen instead. I've always believed that. I said, girl, you think you slick. And Rhaenys says, did you ever imagine yourself sitting on the Iron Throne? You're very smart, way smarter than I believed you ever were. And you're proving that to me right now, just how smart and conniving you are, basically, is what she telling. She reading Allison right fast. Like, you little conniving bitch. I see right through you. And I see what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. So tell me, have you ever even considered to be on the Iron Throne? Like, did you consider, like, being queen instead of putting your son up there? So next thing you know, we see Otto in the Red Keep. He meets with, I think her name was Mysaria. This is the one that Damon used to mess with before Viserys banished him back to where his wife was and stuff like that. And they ask where Aegon at. They know she's the queen of whispers and stuff like that, and spies and stuff. So they know she know where Aegon is. They was like, so tell us. So she said something about he in the bowels of the Red Keep and you'll never find him. So that's when they give her a bag of money. And she tells Otto, listen, if I tell you where he at, you gotta promise me that you gonna put an end to them children gladiator / death fights that they been having. The people so poor and all that kind of stuff. They putting them kids in there to fight like they under 10 years old. And y'all gonna put them in there to fight to the death? Like, that's not right. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna remember to do that, whatever. So she was like, well, he is in Flea Bottom, man. You probably can find him around this area or whatever, right? So the twins, they walking somewhere, and it's like a table full of candles or whatever, right? A circular thing. And we hear Aegon cough, squeal, or whatever it was he was doing. And the twins was walking through, and they heard it. And they bend over and look under. And they pull him out of there and tell him he going back to keep. His grandfather then died. I mean, he's going back to the castle. His grandfather then died, and he's to be made king now. And he like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to be king. I never wanted this life, or whatever. So they get him outside of wherever it was they found him, and who's standing there but Aemond and Sir Kristen. Sir Kristen steps up, and the twins, they want to fight. So he sword fights one twin, and I don't even recall where the other twin went at. But when that happens, that's when Aegon try to make a break for it and runs. Aemond chases after him, knocks him down, tackles him. And Aemond gets the best of Aegon. And Aegon was like, stop, like, let me go. You know I don't want to be the king and all that kind of stuff. Like, come on, let's escape. Like, let me escape and go live free. I don't want it. You can have it. And Aemond was like, no. And Aegon was like, come on, we can go get on a boat together and escape all of this. In the meantime, Kristen beats up the twin and everything. And the other twin reappears and just standing there looking. And they leave to take Aegon back to the castle. So next thing you know, we see Otto and Allison talking. He tells her, that was well played what you did, with sending Kristen and Aemond out to go get Aegon before he can get to Aegon. She was like, yeah, I've been doing everything that you've been telling me to do all these years. I learned a little something from you. She was like, but you know what? I'm not going to keep following behind what you say do all the time. Basically, I'm a grown woman. My kids are basically grown at this point. And I'm going to do what I think is right and not keep listening to you. And it's basically like she realized that her father was setting himself up to be king in the end because he knows Aegon don't really want to be king. So I'm sure he was probably going to try to persuade Aegon to say that he can be king in his place since he don't want it. Or maybe he was going to try to kill Aegon or something. We don't know. But he was up to something. So he also says, you know what, I still want Rhaenyra dead. He still mentioned that somebody need to go kill Rhaenyra because she's not going to bend the knee to Aegon. She was like, no, I'm telling you no again because Viserys will want mercy for Rhaenyra. He would not want Rhaenyra to die. She was like, so what's going to happen is tomorrow, Kristen Cole will be ascend to the station of Lord of the Night's Guard, and Aegon will ascend and take the throne in the morning. So the next thing you know, we see Larys and Allie having one of their little secret meetings. So they both sitting on the chair facing each other. It's a bench in between them. Rhaenyra puts her feet up on the bench, pulls down her stockings, exposing her legs. And this is how she gets Larys to spill tea. And he's like, yeah, there's a web of spies in the Red Keep. And Otto, your father, is aware of these spies. And he's been paying them all these years. He was like, one of the spies is her handmaid, Talia. So she showed him a little bit more leg. I think she might have opened her legs so he can see a little bit of her coochie hair. And she turns her head when he put that fucking club foot up on that table. That twisted foot. He put that foot up on that bench. She turned her head in disgust. And he put his hand in his pants and rubbed one out. I was just like, ew, disgusting. Next thing you know, Rhaenys is in the room that she was locked in because at some point, Allison did go to the room and tell Rhaenys that, you know what, King Viserys is dead. We're gonna make Aegon the king. You know, when they had that conversation earlier that I mentioned, Rhaenys basically said that she was not bending the knee to Aegon. Give her some time to think about it. And they locked her in that room. They wasn't going to let her leave, right? Next thing you know, a knight came in warning her that they was going to probably... He found out, I think, this is what I think. Otto was sending somebody to the room to kill Rhaenys. Because Rhaenys had no plans on bending the knee. So she got warned. He tells her to take off her royalty robes and all that kind of stuff. And he whisked her away to try to save her, right? So they're going through. She looking like a commoner with a cloak over her head and her face. And then she's leaving. As he's whisking her away, we see the guy with the bald head that tried to leave earlier that Larys warned Otto about. He hanging from that same fucking balcony in that foyer. And we know that was definitely ordered by Otto. So they get outside and they walk in the streets or whatever, the side streets, and he trying to get her to a boat or whatever. But every time they go to a different alleyway or a different tunnelway, it's a whole bunch of people coming. It's people coming in to the castle or whatever. So her and the guard get lost and lose each other, right? So she caught up in the midst of all those commoners walking towards the fucking castle. I'm like, oh my god. So next thing we see Allison and Aegon in the wagon. So Aegon's like, why? Why are you forcing me to do this? My father never liked me. He never wanted me to be the king. He always said it was going to be Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra was going to be the queen of the realm. And she was like, but no, with his last breath, he said that Aegon was the prince that was promised. So she was like, and your first order of business once you ascend the throne is your grandfather gonna try to get in your ear and convince you that Rhaenyra needs to die because she's not gonna bend the knee to you. But that's not what you gonna do. What you gonna do is you gonna side with me and say we gonna show mercy to my sister. I'm not killing my sister, basically. Next thing you know, we see Rhaenys again. She in the crowd of the commoners that's going into to the castle, because they didn't ring the bells to let them know that the king is there or whatever. So the crowd of commoners watch as Otto announced that King Viserys is dead. And then we see all the guardsmen come walking in. They make two lines. It's two lines. They turn to face each other, and you know they crisscross these swords like this up. And next thing you know, we see Aegon comes walking through, and he walks up to the throne. They do their whole little ceremony, putting stuff on his forehead, announcing him the king, and asks his family, do they bend the knee to him? And they all nod their head and put their head down as if the emotion that they bend in the knee to Aegon. Sir Criston Cole announces him as king. Aegon raises his sword up in the air, right? And before he can be like, when they started this ceremony, putting stuff on him, we see and they said the king is dead, and Aegon is gonna take the king's place. That's when we see the crowd starts to roar or whatever, and we see Rhaenys dip off in the crowd and go down into this tunnel. I was thinking she was going to escape, right? How about once Aegon raised that sword and starts waving it around? Like, yay, because it took him a minute to actually take it all in, that he's the king now. So I'm guessing it took him a minute to realize, and it took him a minute to accept, because he really don't want to be king. Next thing you know, it was like, almost like, remember that episode when Cersei used the fire to blow up the sept and all the people that had gathered, because she was supposed to be on trial that day and she didn't go down there, right? Remember how it was when it blew up? That's what this scene reminded me of, because all we heard a noise and it was like boom, and then you see dust and debris flying everywhere. And it was the fucking dragon coming up out the floor. It was a red dragon. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? I was like, I know nobody whispered or sent ravens to Dragonstone to let Rhaenyra know that fast or whatever, because remember, they wasn't telling Rhaenyra because they was, I know Otto's plan was to surprise her, catch her off guard, and have her killed or whatever. So I know nobody got to her that fast to let her know. I'm like, who is this? It's fucking Rhaenys on Dragon back. And that dragon comes through that fucking floor. And they just all standing there shook, looking like, oh God, we dead. We dead. We just as good as dead. The dragon rears back. Like that, but no fire. No fire comes out. And Otto screaming, open the doors, open the doors, open the doors. And the doors are opened, and Rhaenys looks at them one last time and turns and flies off on Dragonback, and the episode is over. I'm sad because this is episode number 9. Ain't it only 10 episodes in the season? Is next week the season finale, y'all? This went by fast. I loved it. Am I wrong? Somebody get in the comments and let me know how many episodes in this season. But, because I'm thinking it is only 10 episodes or so. And it was so good. Like, this season been good. This been my favorite thing on TV right now, to be honest with y'all. But that was House of the Dragon, episode number 9, The Green Council. Let's see what's gonna come up next week, because I did see the previews. Somebody came to warn, Rhaenys went to Rhaenyra and told her what was going on, or whatever. So people pledging their allegiance and they gonna do what they gotta do. I'm thinking, Aegon did take the throne, but I think deep down in his heart, he probably gonna side with Rhaenyra, because he don't want to be the fucking king. And of course, Aemon gonna be on the side of his mother. He gonna be with the Greens because he wants to be king. And he couldn't, even as a child, he couldn't stand Rhaenyra's oldest boys. He don't like Rhaenyra or her kids. And that's crazy because that's his damn sister. But, it's such as life. It be like that in real life with families even in this day and age. But, y'all get in the comments and let me know how y'all felt about this episode. It was real good, wasn't it? Don't lie, it was good. And I'm proud of myself. This review is under 30 minutes. I'm so proud of me. I see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Peace. Oh, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button if you are already subscribed. And I'll see y'all in the next one for real. Bye, y'all.